Be down at the Beacon Hill studio with something heavy.
A couple of things heavy, as a matter of fact. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill Associates, a guy with no leg to stand on when it comes to criticizing those North Andover kids with the pot brownies.
What?
You heard me. You've admitted on this show before, Peter KADZIS.
I have no... eating brownies, yeah.
UMass, cooking.
That's nonsense.
That's
nonsense.
Oh, really?
That's scandalous.
Well, hold up your right arm.
Scandalous and
put it on
nonsense.
this paper and say, I solemnly swear to tell the truth.
My right arm is occupied right
I thought it would be.
Back
Peter
off.
KADZIS is a Boston Phoenix, a man with no leg to stand on when it comes to ripping the guy for going 102. You don't drive. But we'll talk about that in a second. First...
I get off easy.
You would have said, take a cab, honey. Yesterday, the big news, Eric Holder comes out and says, you know what? Even though the president ran on closing Gitmo and using civilian courts, even though we told you in 2009 we're going to close Gitmo and use civilian courts, we're not closing Gitmo and we're not using civilian courts when it comes to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Cosmo.
Number one, I think it's an acknowledgement that he feels that they can get due process under these circumstances. I agree. Number two, I guess there's something noble about admitting that you're wrong.
Which he did not do.
Well, tacitly admitting, acknowledging, and flip-flopping, which is an admission of being wrong. But you know what? When you're the president, you're not supposed to get it wrong the first time. And I think that's his big problem here. And I think that's why it's indeed a big flip-flop, no matter what the Attorney General says with his pained expression and what the president says. That's what he's done. He said, you know what? I'm changing my mind because I made the wrong decision.
On the day that the president announces he's running for re-election, Peter, if I asked most people in the street today, what was the first thing he ran on last time, it would be Gitmo. And now yesterday, the day he's announcing re-election, he reverses himself on it.
Well, I think reversal is the right word. Although flip-flop will be used a lot.
You ain't kidding.
The administration has reversed itself. And I think it does so because it's found it was trying to move forward in the face of all sorts of opposition, most of it really political. And I think the Obama administration and people who supported Obama, such as myself, underestimated the complexity of the public feeling on this issue, and maybe some of the complexity of the issues itself. I think it's unfortunate that we have to go down this path, but I don't see what else we can do, and Holder would be advised to put a better face on it.
Yeah, Peter's right. There's a lot of political opposition, but you know what? There's a lot of legitimate opposition by 9/11 families. Many, not all, many in New York who said, you know what? This is the wrong thing to do in the memory of what's happened at 9/11. And I find it kind of off-putting that Holder takes the stance that if it wasn't for all those people in New York, we'd be doing this the way we want to do this.
Well, he blames Congress, the very Congress that they didn't ask approval for to bomb Libya. So what sense does that make? Do either of you have a problem with the fact that the president took to YouTube and to Facebook to announce re-election, but he didn't take to YouTube or Facebook or to the microphones to talk about this decision?
No, I mean, YouTube, Facebook, standard practice these days on campaigns. That's kind of what you do.
No. I mean, public figures are going to use the medium that they think is going to best help them.
But again, he's happy to talk about running for office. He's not happy to talk about decisions that he's making when they're not popular, or they are, in either case.
I don't think his behavior...
Style over substance continues, boys. That's all you need to know.
I don't think his behavior is any different than any other figure. And your point about style over substance, that is a working definition of politics.
And him in particular. Let's talk about Deval Patrick for a second. He had a big press conference yesterday announcing a new pick to the Supreme Judicial Court. There she is, Barbara Lenk, Cosmo. She's openly gay. Deval says, what a coincidence. My question for you is, A, your thoughts on the pick. B, if she was openly heterosexual, would she so easily have been the pick?
I think it's one of those factors. I kind of half believe the governor that it's a pleasant coincidence. I think it's symbolic because of the historic SJC ruling in the state. I got to say,
and his fervor for that issue too.
Indeed, we will learn more about Judge Link's record in the coming weeks. But I got to say, looking at her credentials, the fact that she's an appointee going back to '93 under Bill Weld. For all the criticism and considerably legitimate that a lot of judge appointees at the lower level come in under political circumstances or are not entirely the most qualified. I think governors generally get these ones right, and I think this is probably that case, though we will learn more about her record.
Well, first of all, I'm willing to bet that she will not be the first gay judge to sit on that bench. She may be the first openly gay judge. And I'm a staunch...
I don't know. I have no idea on that.
In other words, human nature is such that...
Does it concern either of you? I mean, I think
no,
we're way past that.
It doesn't concern me at all. And in a way... as someone who was a staunch supporter, for example, of equal marriage rights for all people, I realize this is a landmark, but I look forward to the day when we can move on and it's just, Ms. X or Mr. Y has been named to the bench, because it immediately limits her appointment. I think that's what the governor was trying to do, or it shoeboxes it.